You guys at CNN just report the news straight. And the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know I don't know how we get away with it. It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have just the...
Well, I don't think you could say it's better to have nobody there than...
Bill Maher brought on this woke CNN host live on Real Time with Bill Maher, and this conversation, this annihilation by Bill Maher against this woke CNN host got so bad that multiple times the audience broke out in laughter, multiple times the audience broke out in applause, trying to support Bill Maher, just laughing at this lady for the lies that she's telling Bill Maher right to his face. Let's get into this clip here where, like I said, Bill Maher and his audience on Real Time with Bill Maher absolutely destroyed this woke CNN lady.
That's because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight, and the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know I don't know how we get away with it with all the fucks, but they do. And all these dirty jokes. But I'm glad, and I'm a big rooter for CNN. But that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing is in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, you know, my show is...
I can't even believe these people are real. I understand she has to say that because she works for CNN or whatever, but the fact that people watch Stephen Colbert, and I'm sure Stephen Colbert was being completely serious when he said CNN, all they do is report the news. I'm sure he was being completely 100% genuine, but his audience is they're expecting some satirical things coming out of Stephen Colbert's mouth. So whenever he says CNN just reports the news, of course they're going to laugh because nobody at all, not Stephen Colbert, not this lady, not anybody who works at CNN believes that CNN just reports straight news. Nobody believes that. Not a singular soul out there believes that, other than maybe some really old grandma out there who doesn't know any better. Nobody believes that, though. Let's continue the lies and let's see how the audience begins to turn on this lady.
Is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them. But on CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people on CNN and what I know what the conservative.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23. They was just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. But if I'm a conservative in America and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road, that's what I hear for 15 minutes is it's great, and then Lonely Scott.
And then you have people like, I know Joy Reid doesn't work for CNN. I don't think she does anyway. I believe she's an MSNBC host, but you have people like Joy Reid and other people who are just like her who, like, there's so many just absolutely ridiculous things and harmful things that she has said, you know, about so many different things. I can't even begin to start listing them, but so many things that you watch her say it, and then you wait a second after she says it, and you're like, hold on, she's about to start laughing or something, right? Like she's going to make it known that this is a joke. There's no way she truly believes this. And the things that they will defend, the things that people like Whoopi Goldberg defend with the Joe Biden pooping himself on stage, and before he dropped out of the race, they were trying to defend him so much and act like he's just the best candidate of all time. And Whoopi Goldberg defends him for pooping on stage by saying that she has poopy days too sometimes. Like, the mental gymnastics that these people will play, the people like Whoopi Goldberg in The View, the people like CNN, MSNBC, and the harmful rhetoric, the harmful agendas that they will push in order to just get their way, to keep their people that they want in power to stay in power. There's no end to it. There's no end to it, to the point where this lady can go on Real Time with Bill Maher, where Bill Maher is saying, like, guys, you're getting laughed out of buildings because whenever people mention your name and say that it's associated with just straight up news. Doesn't that kind of like tell you something about how you're viewed by the general public? And she's just like, no, we do report straight news. We have conservatives. It's like, you don't have conservatives. If you're a real conservative, you don't work for CNN. That's like saying that one token conservative lady on The View is a conservative. So therefore, The View, reports straight news. It's not how it works. Plus, that lady on The View is not a conservative at all. She's just like a Democrat in disguise. Anyway, let's get back to this Bill Maher clip.
It does look, and when you see the pattern, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like, it's almost better.
I promise you, I don't pre-watch these. I had no clue Bill Maher was about to say that, but he is spot on. That's exactly what I just said. He's spot on.
To have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have just
Well, I don't think you can say it's better to have nobody there.
Let's watch that again. I want you to hear the audience's reaction to as soon as Bill Maher says that to the CNN lady.
It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like, it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have just
Well, I don't think you can say it's better to have nobody there and then also lament the fact that you don't think the conservative guy, Scott Jennings, who is great, and we have him on my show all the time, spoke up early enough. I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like David Axelrod, who ran successful presidential Democratic campaigns first, for their analysis of this. And I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. I mean, look at that. We covered President Biden's exit from the race very closely, the pressure on him to get out. And I feel like I can speak with authority on this. I'm from Alabama. I'm from a very red state. I have a very conservative family, a lot of them who are Trump.
By the way, CNN, MSNBC, these places that were covering Joe Biden getting pushed out of the race, that doesn't count. Every Democrat out there was trying to push for Joe Biden to drop out of the race, whether they're an actual politician, whether they're pulling the strings behind the scenes, whether they're media outlets, whatever. Everybody was pushing Joe Biden to drop out. That's why he dropped out. He didn't want to drop out. Joe Biden didn't want him to drop out. Nobody wanted him to drop out in his camp. The only reason why he dropped out is because everybody was pushing him to drop out. So to say that CNN was, and The View and Whoopi Goldberg and these people were fairly reporting on Joe Biden dropping out of the race is ridiculous. It's very obvious that somebody got a call, or a lot of people got calls, and said, hey guys, we are now against Joe Biden running in the 2024 election. Let's start pushing for him to drop out. And then everybody started, quote unquote, fairly reporting on Joe Biden dropping out of the race. This is ridiculous.
Voters, they watch my show every night, and I think they know that they can trust me, that we call bullshit on every side, not just whatever leaning our audience may be, and I think that's something that people actually want more of, is to hear from that. I think Scott's voice is really important, but I think other voices are important to hear from. And everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillip, all my amazing colleagues.
They come across
giving
that way.
Analysis.
They come across that way. In a moment like that, it was like 5-1. It always looks like 5-1. Okay, I'll move on.
I'm sure somebody was in his ear, because I didn't know that, but apparently Real Time with Bill Maher said that in this clip. It airs on CNN. I didn't know that it actually aired on CNN. So the fact that, look, Bill Maher has said some absolutely nutty things recently, and it looked like for a while he was kind of going into, being more conservative and stuff like that. But he said some crazy things recently. You got to respect him for this. If his show is airing on CNN and he has this CNN host that's trying to defend CNN from being an absolutely laughable media outlet on CNN, that's respectable a little bit. At least he's able to push back like that. So I respect that, but Bill Maher is still, he's lost. I don't think he's ever coming over to the light side. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Bill Maher absolutely destroying not just CNN, but also throwing in some jabs to Whoopi Goldberg and The View there, and the audience on Real Time with Bill Maher chiming in, laughing at the lady live while they're talking about CNN getting laughed out of the building on Stephen Colbert when he tries to mention them in a serious way. And then also Bill Maher getting applauded whenever he brings up Whoopi Goldberg and The View and how ridiculous they are as well when it comes to reporting the news and the way they talk about things and the tokenism that goes on over there. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Real Time with Bill Maher versus the CNN host and Whoopi Goldberg and The View in the comments.